What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another edition of the podcast. My name is Ramon, and this is Dad's podcast project. And it has been a bit since I've actually sat down in front of the camera and recorded anything. But as you can see, if you're watching the YouTube video, we are actually in the new recording space, which is my spare room in my house. So it's been a long time coming since moving back indoors. I want to say that the other space just really wasn't working out. I think that as much as I might have wanted it to, and the ideas that I had for that space, they just really weren't panning out the way that I had initially intended. So we're indoors now, and yeah, I've got a new desk set up I've been working on for the past couple of days. It took a little bit to get in, but now that it's here, we're cooking on all cylinders, firing on all cylinders. We're doing something. So the background is a little plain right now. It's still a work in progress. I still have our portable AC unit in the room because this room does get actually really, really hot. And with the setup emitting heat from the computer and whatnot that we have in here, it's good to have some air circulation. So one of the things that I wanted to touch on was finals. That has been what my wife and I have been up to for the past couple of days. The kids have not let up, of course, on what it is that they're doing. So we've been managing two wild children, and it's really interesting to watch their interaction with each other as they're getting older now, because the little one, she's actually very, very aggressive towards her brother sometimes. Like when he goes to get at her, she's not taking it. She's not like, just, okay, this is what's going to happen. No. She's actually coming back at him. And there's been times where she's grabbed like a handful of his hair and has been pulling on him just in self-defense, or just like, hey, I don't like what it is that you're doing. So it's been interesting, to say the least, to watch these two interact. But finals have been keeping us super, super busy. My wife is just still working on hers right now as we speak. I have a 7-page essay that I need to write for my English course. I just finished all of my computer science homework, so computer coding, fortunately, has not been difficult for me, and I took the time to just knock that out. The other thing that I have next is to study for my computer science final, but I'm not too concerned with that. I really want to knock out this paper. Whatever grade I get is whatever grade I get. I never claimed to be a great English student, and so I'm just hoping for a passing grade at this point. Other than that, yeah, it's just been more shelter in place, more business as usual back at work. It looks as if things are going to start opening up soon. We've seen in the past, like, Mother's Day has come and gone. We did a little celebration here at the house with just the family. By family, I mean just my wife and I and our two kids. We didn't have like people over. We didn't do anything like that, but that was something that we were seeing on social media. And if you were part of that group that was doing stuff like that, I mean, that's you. You got to do you. At the end of the day, it's a raw deal. Any way you shake it, it's not fun sort of being in this scenario where we're sheltering in place and it's like, this is what we have to do, or this is sort of like what's recommended of us to do. But what I don't get, or at least in conversations like with some of my coworkers, I feel like as the United States of America, we definitely are a country that is just like, we're over it. It doesn't really matter about the death toll. It doesn't matter about the potential for a vaccine. It just seems like People are just over it. They're over the shelter in place. It was cool in the beginning. You had the push-up challenges. You had all of these things that were going on to just sort of like entice people or motivate people. Oh, we're doing Zoom group chats. We're doing drive-by baby showers. We're doing drive-by, birthday celebrations. And now it's just like, we're done. I mean, I'm not done. But it seems like the general census is people are done. People are tired of this. They just want to go back to whatever they considered normal to be. And that's kind of concerning because it doesn't mean that this went away. It's not gone. It's still a thing. But people are concerned about, one, their jobs, which makes sense. If you don't have a job, you're not earning an income. Two, they're concerned about being away from family. That's really tough. I see these videos and, everybody's like, I don't know. I don't really know what to make of some of these videos. Like, it's kind of corny to me. I get it. Like, there was this one video, a girl put up a piece of plastic on her grandmother's door and with like little arm pieces. So like she can hug her grandma can give her a hug. And it's like, they're posting that video on the gram or on Facebook. And like, this is supposed to be some hyper emotional moment. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, hug your grandmother then. And like, what are we doing? We're going to put plastic on the door? I mean, some of these things just seem ridiculous to me. And I think like, if you're going to go and you're just going to be there, like, don't put plastic. Just hug your grandmother then. I mean, people are going to do what they're going to do. I mean, what can I say? But like, finding a cure aside, finding a vaccine aside, we're still going to have individuals who are anti-vaccination. Then it doesn't matter. They're not going to take it, which is really concerning, like not concerning, but really interesting to me to see or to pose the question. If you are anti-vaccination, are you also wearing a mask? Because I think to myself, why? Like, what is that? I just don't know what purpose that would serve, other than maybe to abide by some rule that a company or a grocer or whomever is putting out there that you have to wear a mask in order to get service. But in your regular day-to-day, are you even concerned? Would you just rather go back to work? Or do you feel like this isn't something that's real? It's just like, it's made up, or maybe it's not made up, but even having a vaccine, it's like you still wouldn't even take it. If that's the case, then none of this really matters. This is just one huge inconvenience. I would perceive it as that. If I were anti-vaccination, I would perceive this as just one huge inconvenience, telling me not to work, telling me to wear a mask, telling me all of these other things. And even when a vaccine hits the streets, I'm not even going to take it. So I can understand that perspective. I can understand where people are coming from in that regard. But I just feel like I've seen too many individuals just beating down on the low man on the totem pole. One story that comes to mind is the individual who was shot on the job working at Dollar Tree. This man was just enforcing his company's rules, telling patrons, if you want to shop here, you need to wear a mask. And one woman was so irate because of this that she left, got her husband and her son, came back, and the husband then proceeded to chew this man out, and the son then shot this man. What is up with that? That does not make sense to me. This guy is working for probably minimum wage, maybe a couple dollars more than that. He is on the same, we're all on the same level together. We're all being told to wear masks. We're all being told, stay home, shelter in place. None of us are making these rules, yet we're beating ourselves up because of this. And that doesn't make sense to me. The owner of the company is the one who established this. The government are the individuals who established this because it's the general census that they feel for the general population. The majority would want this. But we're out here just bickering amongst ourselves. That to me doesn't make sense. I get it when people are really irate and upset with the fact that they have to shelter in place, that, you know, unemployment is like moving at a snail's pace, that these sort of, stimulus checks are just either too little or too late for some individuals because the bills just keep coming. These aren't stopping. And to me, it's like, well, what is going on then? You can't tell me to stay home and then not pay me. You can't tell me, you know, to just file for unemployment, and the unemployment is just backlogged and it's not working. You can't tell me like it's just, for example, if you want to get a test, you go get a test, when that's not the truth. That's not the case for everybody. So I really am looking at the bigger picture, and I'm seeing this frustration. I'm seeing and I'm understanding why individuals are just feeling this way. And it's frustrating. It is. I don't enjoy standing in line at a distance, waiting outside because there's a maximum capacity. But at the same time, I'm not trying to, I don't know, I don't look at myself as like a sheep type person where I'm just like towing the line, because I'm not making these rules, you know? And what am I going to do rocking the boat? Like, am I trying to force my way into these businesses? Am I trying to get my hair cut? Hence the beanie. If you're watching the video, I have not been cutting my hair. I've not been getting a haircut. So, you know, a lot of people have not. My wife is talking to me about how badly she's just looking forward to a good haircut, a good manicure, pedicure, just the things that we used to do. Going into drive-thrus, going to restaurants and seeing glass or plastic or plexiglass up in between you and the person who's serving you or the person who's accepting your payment. It's different. It really is. And this is the time that we're living in. And we were talking about it just earlier today. Like, what is it going to look like when we're going back to whatever it is that's going to be normal? I'm not really sure what that's going to look like. We were talking about planning a trip for the kids. We wanted to take them to Disneyland. Who knows when that's going to happen? Hopefully it can happen this year. If not, I mean, next year. But I don't know. We took a drive though today as a family just to get out of the house. Our daughter, we just realized that she's not really been out of the house since this whole shelter in place. She's just been home. And, you know, she's not even 1 year old yet, so she probably doesn't even really notice or really, I mean, who's to say? Maybe she does. But we all loaded ourselves in the car and we just took a drive. I mean, we didn't get out, but we got out of the house, but we didn't get out of the car, I guess. And it was kind of nice. I mean, it's there's only so much that we can do. There's only so much that we can stay home during this time. And I really hope that we see some kind of change. I really hope that something's going to happen. I'm fiddling around with this mic right now. I'm just, it's a different setup. So bear with me, please. But yeah, that's kind of what's been going on. Finals have been super stressful. I know that with my CS work, I was having some coding issues that just weren't panning out. And that can be frustrating. That on top of having to stay home, on top of not being able to really easily just run out and go to the grocery store and buy something with, all of this stuff, all encompassing. It becomes a breeding pool for frustrations and short-temperedness, but we're on the downward slope. There's light at the end of the tunnel with this. My wife's finals are this weekend. My finals will be mid next week, I believe. And then that is it. This has been for the both of us, it has been one of the longest semesters that we've had to complete thus far. And it'll be interesting going forward. Next semester, I think my wife has a few more classes, and then she's going to be completely done with school. She'll have her bachelor's degree, and it's definitely been a long road. We talk about this with just people who are interested in getting back into school and doing it and wondering, gosh, when am I going to have the time? If you don't have children, it's the optimum time to do it. Just do it. If you have children, the younger they are, it is the optimum time to do it. Just do it, because it doesn't get any easier. Life is full of sacrifices, either way you slice it. And if we had the choice and we could go back and do it again, we would do it when we were younger. But we didn't. So we had to do it when we were older. And we decided to take the sacrifice, and rather than wait till say the kids are older and in school to try to then go to school ourselves, we just do it when they're young. It's hard. It's not easy. But it's the decision that we decided to make, which led to another interesting conversation that we had earlier today as well about statistically students or young kids who start working at a young age, like say at 16, 17, even 18. A lot of them don't go on to college because they just start making money, and they then think to themselves, why do I need to further my education? I'm already making money. I'm already buying things. I can move out if I want to. I can get a car if I want to. I pay for my own cell phone. You have that sense of independence. And I think that one of the things going forward is, because I started working very young. My wife started working very young. For me, it was just because the people I was hanging out with, they started working too. And so it was you kind of tend to, the people you surround yourself with is you tend to sort of emulate or be like. And my friends were getting jobs. I got a job, and it's we all just started working. That was the thing. It wasn't that I had to, I didn't. And I had just been working ever since. So from high school till now, I've just been steadily working. I've not really taken time off. And so going to school, I think to myself, as I said in a previous podcast, with all the free time that you have as a young adult, no children, no bills, no mortgage, it is the prime time to knock out your education. And what with the job market too. I'm really curious what the job market is going to look like, at least for my children, with the way that things have been going. Because when the country opens up again, how many of these businesses are going to be able to go back? How many of them will still be there? I think it was, who was it? There's a manufacturing company that is neighboring to where I work. I won't name any names, but it was brought to my attention that they would be closing their doors. They employ a lot of people, and that's it. They couldn't do it. They're not going to open back up. That's huge. That's a lot of people who are now out of work. Where are they going to go? Are they going to have to file for unemployment? Are they going to be on unemployment for a prolonged period of time? Where are they going to take this skill set, especially in this area? At least it feels as if it's slim pickings. A lot of people are going to have to relocate, move, especially during a time when there's a pandemic. Is that even, you got to do what you got to do, but it's scary. It's scary to think of. So Things like that are possibilities. And not saying that an education would shelter you, because they hired people through all the gamut of out of high school with probably GED to out of high school with a diploma to community college graduates to university graduates to Cal State graduates. I mean, they filled the entire spectrum on in terms of education, skill, knowledge, street smarts, book smarts, everybody. So everybody was affected by this. And who's going to be able to land on their feet? Who's going to be able to get back to work? And or who has a skill that is desirable? In a manufacturing setting, as a machinist, yes, that's a desirable skill set. Welders, that's a desirable skill set. Engineers, okay, that's really good. You could probably work from home. As a machinist, I cannot work from home. Unless I wanted to move a CNC machine into my garage, I have to go to work. So if this is the future and a lot more people are going to be able to work from home or have that flexibility or ability, is that something that I want to maybe plant the seeds with my children? Think about diversifying yourself in a way to which if something like this were to happen, you have something to fall back on. If you're a machinist and you have to be in a machine shop, it's a great trade, but in the event of something like this, there's no option. If you're an engineer, you do have to be in an office type setting or a shop, but maybe that skill set translates to being able to work from home as well in the event that something were to happen. Or in the event that maybe you have children and you want more flexible hours. I know that for my wife and I, it can be very difficult because we want to be home with the kids. We want to be here. Like this is what, like when we talk about what our goals were and our dreams were growing up, this was it, having a family and raising children. And this is what we think about. We think about being home with them. Like I go to work, but I'm itching to get home. I'm not thinking about like the gym or going out or just like any of that other stuff. Like I want to be home. I want to hang out with my kids. That's just on me though. Doesn't have to be you, but that's where my mind goes. So if I had the ability to work from home, I think that would be pretty awesome because it would give me more time to be here, more time to spend with them because they're only going to be young for so long. As soon as they're 18 or even when they reach like preteen or like even now, our son, he was running and he kind of like slipped because he was wearing his socks. He slipped in the kitchen and like bumped his elbow on the floor. And my wife, super concerned, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" He's like, "I'm fine, Mom." It's like a little 4-year-old. He's fine. You know, really? But that reminds me of a funny story that I want to end on. And it's just the silliness of our kids. Our son the other night, because he's been having trouble just staying in bed, we found that what works for us is we give him a little flashlight or so he can play with that. And then he and his sister, they're just talking to each other. She's kind of just still babbling or gibberish. And our son, he's talking to her. And so they end up talking to each other until they fall asleep. The flashlight helps them stay in bed. Just one of those little maybe parenting tips. If your little one's not staying in bed, how about you give them a flashlight? But other than that, or on that note, he comes out of the room from time to time. And so he came out of the room the other night and he was like, Dad. I'm like, get back in bed. It's bedtime. He's like, Dad, I can't hear you. I can't hear you over here. I'm like, I said, get back in bed. It's bedtime. I can't hear you. I gotta come closer. I'm like, okay, come here. So what is it? So I got something I got to tell you, but I can't tell you from far away. I have to tell you close. I was like, you're already close. You're already in the room with me. No, I gotta get closer. I'm like, all right, get closer. And he comes up and he's looking around. I'm like, what is it? He's like, I need something. It's like, what do you need? You've already got your teeth brushed. You already went to the bathroom. It's bedtime. What do you need? He's like, I need, and he's like thinking. He's like racking his brain. I need something to watch. I'm like, no, you don't need anything to watch. It's bedtime. Just go to bed. He's like, okay. Can you tuck me in though? It's like, I already tucked you in. If you didn't get up, I wouldn't have to tuck you in again. So either way, I got up and I tucked him in and I told him good night. And it's the silliness that he's always thinking of something. He's just so quick on it. He's rattling his little brain trying to think, oh gosh, what can I say to buy me some more time outside of the room? And, he even comes out of the room sometimes and he's like, let's share this one more thing with you guys, but he even comes out of the room sometimes and he's already got like his blanket and his little stuffed animal and he's got a pillow and it's like, what are you doing? Like, you're not coming out here to sleep. But that's just one of the cool parts about being a dad is, those little moments, those little weird, like silly little things that, your kids are going to do. And I'll tell you, I'll have to admit, like, I don't say no all the time. Sometimes he comes out and it's like, okay, just lay in bed and, keep quiet because, his mom is in the living room still doing her homework. So it's like, okay, come lay with me then. And we'll just crash out. So I'll leave it at that, you guys. I want to thank you for taking the time to continue to listen to these podcasts. If you're catching this on YouTube, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment on what you think about the setup. Is this adequate? Is this nice? Because I feel it's nice. I'm indoors now. I mean, I hope there's less echo. I'm not really sure. I mean, depending on the room, there might be. But yeah, until next time, you guys. See ya.